It was just a scratch. You remember it. 3 days ago, scavenging a derelict warehouse, a piece of jagged, rusted razor wire snagged your forearm. You pulled back, cursed, saw the thin red line. You wiped it on your pants, wrapped it with a strip of cloth, and kept moving. No big deal. You've had worse, but that was 3 days ago, before a simple infection became a death warrant. Now, you can't ignore it. The world has shrunk to the throbbing heat radiating from that cut. Sleep was impossible last night. A fever crept in, leaving you shivering in your blankets. This morning you unwrapped the dirty cloth. The skin around the wound is swollen, angry, and a shade of red that screams poison. Pus, thick and yellow-green, oozes from the gash. And there it is, the thing you feared. A faint red line, no thicker than a thread, crawling its way from the wound, up your arm, on a direct path to your core. The medical term is lymphangitis. You know it by its real name, the beginning of the end. Your hands shake as you scramble through your bug-out bag. You find the little bottle of Fishmox you bought online years ago. The label's a ghost. You dry swallow 2 capsules, praying they've got some fight left. But you've heard the stories. Stockpiled antibiotics are a gamble, a roll of the dice you're about to lose. That red line doesn't care about your expired medicine. It's a relentless, silent killer, and it's already inside your perimeter. In a world without doctors, without IV drips, a simple scratch is a death sentence. Game over, unless you have a different kind of training, unless you know the old ways, unless you're prepared to use the arsenal that nature provides. All right, listen up. That story isn't fiction. It's a preview of how people will die when the world falls apart. It's what happens when a pre-collapse mindset hits a post-collapse reality. The greatest threat out here isn't the marauder with a rifle. It's the microscopic bacteria on that rifle butt when it hits you in the face. Complacency kills. Every single scratch is a potential kill shot. You have to pivot your thinking. Right now, before we outsourced our healing, post-collapse, you are the first responder, the doctor and the pharmacist. Healing is now an active, constant battle. Let's debrief the mistakes. Understanding failure is the first step to survival. The first critical error was psychological, ignoring the wound. In the old world, a minor cut was an inconvenience. Slap on a band-aid, forget it. In this world, there is no such thing as a minor wound. Every break in the skin is a breach in your fortress, an open door for staph, strep, and all the microscopic enemies playing for keeps. Within 48 to 72 hours, a local infection can escalate to sepsis, a full-blown systemic crisis where your own body starts shutting down your organs. That's the fever. That's the chills. That's your body screaming that it's losing the war. The second mistake was blind faith in old medicine. Your stash of amoxicillin and doxycycline feels like an insurance policy. It's not. It's a depreciating asset. While studies show many antibiotics keep some potency for years if stored perfectly, your bug-out bag baking in the sun isn't perfect storage. That faded bottle might work, or it might just give the bacteria a non-lethal dose. Underdosing doesn't just fail to kill the infection, it can theoretically help create resistant bacteria. You're also guessing. Is it the right antibiotic for the bug? Are you allergic? A bad guess is as deadly as the infection itself. The third mistake is treating your kit as a permanent solution. Those trauma packs and prescription survival kits, they're great, but they are finite. They run out. What's your plan for year 2? Year 5? You cannot stockpile your way to long-term survival. You must become the source. Your knowledge is the only resource that never expires and can't be looted. The debrief is over. Now for the briefing. Pay attention. This is your new reality. From this moment on, every wound is treated as a life-threatening event. Step 1. Assess the damage. First, know what you're dealing with. Is it a superficial scrape or a deep, dangerous wound? A laceration is a slice. A puncture from a nail or a splinter is one of the most dangerous. It's a narrow channel that injects bacteria deep into the tissue and then seals over. It creates the perfect warm, dark, oxygen-deprived environment where anaerobic bacteria thrive. This is the ideal breeding ground not just for a general infection, but for things like Clostridium tetani, the bacteria that causes tetanus. Look at the wound. Is there debris in it? Dirt, rust, fabric? That's fuel for infection. Control the bleeding first. Always. Direct pressure and elevation. Step 2. The deep clean. This is the most critical step and you cannot be gentle. The goal is irrigation, flushing the wound with pressure to physically remove bacteria. In a perfect world, you use a sterile syringe. In the real world, a water bottle with a small hole poked in the cap will work. You need a high-pressure stream. What do you flush with? Water that you've boiled and cooled is best. Drinkable water is clean enough. If you have it, add salt to the water. A povidone iodine solution diluted with clean water until it's the color of weak iced tea is an excellent field disinfectant. But you must flush with force. Pouring water over the wound isn't enough. Blast the contaminants out. Use at least half a liter. Don't scrub the inside of the wound. You'll cause more damage. Clean the skin around the wound with soap and water, but keep harsh soaps, alcohol, and full-strength hydrogen peroxide out of the wound itself. They kill healthy tissue you need for healing. Step 3. Infection indicators and the red line rule. Your work isn't done. You are now on watch. For the next 72 hours, you monitor that wound like a hawk. You're looking for the cardinal signs of infection: redness, spreading out from the wound; heat, the area feels warmer than the surrounding skin; swelling, the tissue gets puffy; pain, it gets worse, not better; a constant throbbing ache; pus, any cloudy, yellow or green discharge. Foul smell is a dead giveaway. Fever, your body is fighting a major internal battle. If you see these signs, it's time for the red line rule. Take a permanent marker and draw a line on the skin, right at the border of the redness. This isn't a folk tale. It's a critical diagnostic tool. It gives you an objective measure of whether the infection is spreading. Check it every few hours. If that red border crosses your line, you are losing ground. And if you see that dreaded red streak heading up an arm or leg, you are in a race against time. That is lymphangitis. The infection is in your lymphatic system, and sepsis is the next stop. This is where the briefing shifts. Your antibiotics failed or you're out. This is not the time for panic. It's time for knowledge. These aren't alternative medicines. These are the original medicines, tools used by Roman legionaries and World War I medics because they work. Remedy 1. Raw honey. This is your frontline weapon. For centuries, raw, unpasteurized honey has been used on infected wounds. It dehydrates and kills bacteria. It slowly releases low levels of hydrogen peroxide, a natural antiseptic. It reduces swelling and pain. Studies show it's effective against antibiotic-resistant strains. Tactical application. After cleaning, apply a thick layer of raw honey directly on the wound. It has to be raw and unfiltered. The stuff in the plastic bear is just sugar. Manuka is king, but any local raw honey works. Cover with a clean dressing. Change it once or twice a day. Remedy 2. Pine resin. Pine, spruce and fir trees have their own immune system. That sticky resin they bleed seals injuries and kills bacteria. It's a natural liquid bandage. Tactical application. Harvest the sticky sap from a pine or fir. You can apply it directly to a clean cut to seal it. To make a salve, gently heat the resin with some olive oil or animal fat until it mixes. This salve can be applied to wounds, scrapes and punctures. It is survival superglue. Remedy 3. Plantain leaf, not the banana. The common weed, Plantago major, that grows in every lawn and crack in the pavement. This humble weed is a powerhouse. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and it draws out toxins and pus. Tactical application. For a quick field dressing, find a clean leaf, chew it up to release the juices, and apply the mash directly to the wound. It's called a spit poultice. Your saliva even adds its own antibacterial enzymes. Or crush the leaves with a clean rock, mix with a little water, and apply the poultice. It's exceptionally useful for drawing out debris from puncture wounds after you've flushed them. Remedy 4. Garlic, one of nature's most aggressive antibiotics. Medics in both world wars carried it to treat battlefield wounds. Its power comes from allicin, a compound released when you crush a clove. It's potently antibacterial. Tactical application. For a systemic infection, meaning you have a fever, peel and eat 2 to 3 raw cloves a day. It's not pleasant, but you're fighting for your life. For topical use, crush a fresh clove into a paste. Mix it with honey. Apply it to a piece of gauze, not directly on raw tissue. Raw garlic is caustic and can burn your skin. Change it daily. Remedy 5. Oregano oil. The power here comes from carvacrol and thymol. They are potent antimicrobials that destroy the cell membranes of bacteria. Tactical application. This stuff is extremely concentrated and must be diluted. Mix a few drops with a carrier oil like olive or coconut oil. Apply it to the skin around a wound to fight a spreading skin infection. It can also be taken internally, but follow the dosage on the bottle. It's a stable item for your kit. Remedy 6. The turmeric, honey and apple cider vinegar mix, a potent anti-inflammatory and antibiotic combo you can make ahead of time. Turmeric's active compound, curcumin, is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Tactical application. In a glass jar, combine about 7 ounces of raw honey, 4 ounces of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of turmeric powder. A pinch of black pepper increases the turmeric's effectiveness. Shake it well. This mix is shelf-stable. Take a tablespoon several times a day at the first sign of any infection. This is your new pharmacy. Learn to identify these assets. Learn how to prepare them. Your life will depend on it. Knowledge is the weapon, but you still need ammunition. Your scratch kit needs to be a minimalist, effective system for immediate action. It should contain irrigation, a syringe or modified bottle cap, povidone iodine, sterile gauze, medical tape, a permanent marker for the red line rule, and small containers of your pre-made remedies, pine resin salve and the turmeric honey mix. Add a small vial of oregano oil. But the ultimate goal is to stop being a scavenger and start being a producer. Your garden isn't just for calories, it's your pharmacy. Plantain is probably already there. You should be deliberately cultivating garlic, oregano, thyme, and rosemary. A small 4x4-foot raised bed of medicinal herbs is more valuable than 100 bottles of expired antibiotics. Use modern tools when they're viable, but have the ancestral knowledge to take over when they fail. The scenario we began with ends in one of 2 ways. It ends with sepsis and death, another anonymous casualty of the collapse. Or it ends with you, calm and methodical, cleaning the wound and applying the remedies that have kept us alive for millennia. It ends with you drawing a line on your arm and watching, day by day, as the redness recedes, the fever breaks, and the healing begins. The difference is not luck, it is training, it is knowledge. The power to save your own life isn't in a bottle, it's in your hands and in your mind. Stock your pharmacy, train now, survive later. If you found this briefing valuable, subscribe. We're transmitting more life-saving instruction. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. In the comments, tell me one medicinal plant you're going to learn to identify this week. Stay tactical, stay alive.